Welcome, absolutely everyone, to Broke and Gaming. I'm your co-host, Shea.
I'm your other co-host, Dan. And hey, Shea, what have you been playing recently?
Well, Dan, in an effort to recapture the magic of video games that came out when I was in high school, I think, I have been playing the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was on sale on the Xbox store. I got it real cheap, and just
What is real cheap?
like $8, I think.
That's pretty cheap, yeah.
It is pretty cheap. It's not as cheap as I would think for a game that's 15 years old, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all our friends are there. Roach, Soap, Ghost, a man whose voice does not match the effort to make him cool that they put into him. There's another guy whose name is escaping me right now, but that was in the sequel. Yeah, playing through that right now.
Okay.
The infamous airport
Is it
level.
everything you remember it to be?
Oh, it sure is, Dan. And obviously it looks like a game that's 15 years old, but, like, surprisingly not that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely would have been very advanced for its time period. So it's recapturing some of that nostalgia for me. I have a hunch that I'm going to finish the campaign in about 6 hours, maybe.
Okay.
So there's not a whole lot of play on this one, but
yeah, the campaigns aren't super long from what I remember.
Yeah, I think that's true. The Black Ops one was pretty sizable, if I remember correctly, but still not approaching any of the RPGs we've talked about having played.
That might be the last one I played in that whole series, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I never got into military shooters for the most part, but I do remember the Modern Warfare games being, like, pretty fun.
Yeah. That was
but
Nuketown.
I didn't catch up with 3.
Modern Warfare, I think.
Relatively recent, right?
Yeah, so they, like, I don't know if it was remakes or just, like, relaunching the franchise, but they did another Modern Warfare, and then another Modern Warfare 2, and then I think Modern Warfare 3 came out, like, last year or the year before, maybe.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. So that's your old game. Right before we started recording, Shea and I were both like, we're playing games that are well over a decade old.
Fucking ancient.
But to get genuine reactions, neither one of us told the other which games they were. So
what's your decade and a half old game, Dan?
I've been playing Fallout New Vegas because of our conversation last time and because of the series. And man, it really does hold up. Like, graphically, it's not great because, as noted, that era of Bethesda stuff,
not good.
The faces are not great.
Yeah.
But it's still so much fun. Like, I could not possibly give a shit less about the main quest line.
Uh-huh.
Like, the fate of New Vegas and the Hoover Dam, I don't care about. I just like living in that world for a while and doing all the dumb side quests and getting all the companions.
Is the power armor as fucking awful in New Vegas as
it's nearly non-existent? Like, it is
just
thank
Christ.
Armor. Like, you'd have to kill a Brotherhood of Steel person to get them, because they're not just, like, all over the fucking place like they are in 4. Right now, I'm okay with the Brotherhood of Steel, because you know how they have the, like, faction things. So they don't hate me right now.
That's cool.
Only the Legion and the Powder Gangers hate me currently.
That's not so bad.
No, that's who you want if you're playing a good run. I always default to just being a good guy, because it just I don't get the whole, like, just chaos for chaos's sake thing in a lot of these games where there's a morality system.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't feel good. Even in Grand Theft Auto, like, I usually try to not be a complete shithead, which is
that's saying something, man.
Yeah.
The game is built to be a good criminal, so.
Well, I mean, I'll steal shit.
I'll obviously
kill people that are in the way of me stealing shit, but I'm not just gonna, like, beat a sex worker to death for $100 that they drop on a good day. Like, that's not fun to me. And so when it comes to games like Fallout or even I mean, Elder Scrolls kind of functions the same way. I don't like being just completely villainous. The last time I really did that, and it was more because it was visually attached to what your choices were, I think was probably the Fable series.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But those came out when I was more comfortable being a weird little edgy doofus.
Well, hey,
and now
I was just about to say you'll have the opportunity to tap into that again, but that's definitely an Xbox exclusive.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
I mean, that is one of the only things I would really like consider getting an Xbox for, because Richard fucking Iowati's in it, and that's amazing. But yeah, so I had texted you to see whether or not you'd had any experience with the PlayStation streaming service.
Yeah.
Because Shea, I did not download New Vegas. I am streaming New Vegas directly from their servers.
Okay.
And it works pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, it's always based on how your internet is doing on any given day. And I've had a couple moments where it would lag.
Uh-huh.
But if I just went back to, like, the homepage and not even relaunch the game, but just, like, went back to the game,
yeah,
it would usually clear up. I thought at first it was an issue with how many NPCs were on screen or how many enemies were on screen at any given time, but that didn't seem to be the case. Because I, like, stormed a Legion camp, and there was, like, a lot of them, and ran perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I have to really dig into how much is on there, but it seems like it's mostly older titles. Like, there's a couple that are new things. I think I first noticed that, like, Death Stranding was streamable, which, as big as that game is,
yeah,
huge benefit to not have to clear the hard drive space for it.
Man, talk about a game that I bailed very quickly on.
Look, who could blame you?
It wasn't that it was bad. It was just like, I don't know. The mechanics just did not agree with how I like to enjoy video games. So
Yeah,
just
I don't disagree with that one bit.
Yeah, having to hold down the triggers all the time while I'm moving so that Norman Reedus doesn't trip over a rock.
Yeah.
Got a little bit irritating.
I'm curious to see what they end up doing for the second one, to see what changes they've made. But knowing Kojima, they're just going to make it more difficult overall. And
right,
like, not only are you going to have to hold triggers, but you're going to have to keep the controller completely static in a position. Like, I could see them using tilt stuff, because he always tries to push the envelope as far as, like, what technologies are in use at the time. So we'll see. Pure speculation. But yeah, dude, No Vegas is so fun.
Sorry, did you call it No Vegas?
I said well, no, I don't think I did. Non-Vegas is so fun. It's just the strongest writing. With the streaming, I don't think I have access to DLCs, which is a travesty, because Old World Blues is, like, the best DLC that has been in any of the Fallout games, and I don't think I can play it. I have to do more research to figure out if that is a thing I can do. But fuck, I love these games.
I think I still haven't my Xbox 360 copy of that game.
I'm almost positive I do too. I think I have the Game of the Year edition, which would give me access to that.
Yeah.
But I saw it on the PlayStation Store, and I was like, I have to try this.
Yeah.
Like, I downloaded Fallout 4 at the same time, and then found out that New Vegas was on there.
It is astounding to me how many consoles Fallout 4 has made it onto for me, because I don't really like that game all that much.
It's not great.
And I give it a try probably once or twice a year. I give it a try. I'm like, I'll like it this time. And the answer is always no.
Nope. Preston Garvey's still a pain in my ass.
Yeah, fuck that dude.
It's interesting. Like, so my YouTube algorithm is always, like, bananas, because I was doing so much research for quizzes and stuff like that. And so now half of my homepage on YouTube is all video game related, did you know kind of things. Mm-hmm. And because of the Fallout series, I've been inundated with Fallout stuff recently. Yeah. Which I'm cool with. Like, it is fun to see, like, how many different celebrities have voiced people in these games that you may not be aware of, which was an actual video I watched last week.
Yeah.
Totally forgot that Felicia Day was Veronica in New Vegas. And Zachary Levi is another companion that you can get. A companion that I do not think I've ever recruited in any of my playthroughs of New Vegas. He's arcade something or other, and he sucks.
Sounds like him in real life.
Yeah, it seems like a shitty dude from everything I've heard in the past, 2 years. But,
yeah, I was going to say, I actually don't know anything about that man, but I know that he blamed audiences for the reason his movie sucked, so.
For Shazam 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Harold
dog.
and the Purple Crayon doesn't look good.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. He's Harold in Harold and the Purple
yeah.
Crayon, and it looks not great.
That's a shame. I went to the movies yesterday to see The Strangers.
Oh, how was that?
Let down. Yeah. I should have known. There was not enough killing for me, which is like my thing. If you're going to be in like a slasher.
If it's going to be a slasher film, yeah.
You got to have slashing. And there was very little of that in this movie. And it does this thing. Oh my God, Dan.
Well, they were just starting out. That's the whole deal.
Right.
Anyway.
The movie does this thing that I fucking hate in horror movies. And I get it. You have to move the plot along and you can't kill off Jason in the first 12 minutes or whatever. But
sure.
The number of times that you have the bad guys at gunpoint and you're just not pulling the trigger. What are you doing? You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Yeah. The amount of times where it's just this Deus Ex Machina, one of the other three invaders in The Strangers, comes out of nowhere and whacks the main person across the face. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. It's the false lengthening mechanic of horror movies.
Oh man, look, we should. I'm a little bit serious about this. We should do a sub podcast about horror movies so that I have an excuse to watch horror movies, because I just don't that much anymore. I just watched a timeline breakdown of the 2 X films that have come out so far in preparation for Maxine, because I haven't seen any of them. And the Ty West stuff looks really, really interesting. And Mia Goth is fucking wild.
This is a franchise that I'm unfamiliar with, so
it's X was the first one, then it was Pearl, which was a prequel to X.
Oh, yeah.
Maxine is the third one. Yeah. Yeah. They just seem real off the wall, and I kind of want to watch them for real now, even though I know everything that happens. But we should do a horror sub podcast at some point.
Oh man, you know who would be great for that show?
When we get bored with this format. Who?
Kelsey fucking loves horror movies.
Kelsey, do you want to do a horror podcast?
Back into Is This Show Good?
Look, yeah. I'm genuine. I would do this.
Yeah.
Anyway, So video games.
Yeah.
Have you been playing anything else?
I have, Dan. As part of my perusal of a sale that I did finally post about on our Facebook. I put up a cheap code today. Is a game called Astria Ascending, which is a real anime-ass turn-based, party-based RPG. But there's
I'm looking it up now. Oh man, it even has the old school Final Fantasy art style for the logo.
Man, it is a hand-drawn game, is what they assure me in the description. But yeah, I actually it looked kind of cool. I haven't played a whole lot of it, but it looked kind of cool. There was basically the world is there's all of these different kinds of I don't know, I guess human hybrids or mythical creatures.
Cool.
That are human-esque, and one of each of them is in this team of demigods who trade longevity in life for these powers. Basically, they get to be demigods for 3 years and then they die. And this particular squad is 3 months 3 months away from retirement. And the apocalypse kicks off. So I picked that up, also real cheap. I think that was $3 on the sale.
Hell yeah. I'm as soon as we're done recording, I'm gonna go look and see what what it's at for PlayStation right now, because this does look pretty good. It's funny because it says J inspired RPG. And I don't know what that means.
That's really weird that it says J inspired, because it is a Japanese game.
Yeah. The credited writer is Japanese.
Yeah.
The director is I don't know how to actually pronounce this, so I'm just gonna say his name is Julien Bourgeoisie.
Love that.
It's like Borges or something like that, but I just think that's more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Artisan Studios. Where are they based out of? Don't know, because they're not a big enough thing to have their own Wikipedia page. We're even shortchanging our shortchange on this. So that's pretty cool.
Do you have premium for PlayStation Plus or no?
Yeah.
Oh, well then you can go ahead and stream this game on PlayStation Plus.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that.
It's not bad. I'm not a huge fan of their ability building system, but again, I haven't played a whole lot of it, so it's early days on that. I did also buy the cosmetic weapon set, which has not showed up in the game, but we'll see how that goes.
Well, if you're only paying $3 for the game itself, yeah,
right.
You might as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a wild thing, by the way, just to circle back to Modern Warfare 2. The game itself is cheaper in this sale than both of the DLC packs, which are just like multiplayer maps, and I can't imagine that those servers are still going. So
I found that to be true of a lot of things that are on PlayStation Plus. Like, things that I wouldn't have bought. Midnight Suns is a perfect example of that. Like,
sure.
To get all the DLC, it's almost as expensive as just buying a mid-level game, and I don't need to do that.
Yeah. What all comes in the DLC for that?
4 characters and an entire Dracula storyline.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, not nothing.
Not nothing. I may end up doing it at some point, just because we're never going to get a sequel to that.
Yeah.
To at least experience a little bit more in that world, I would need to do that, but whatever. That Crime Boss game that stars, like, speaking of close to retirement, Danny Glover and...
Oh, boy.
Yeah. It's so it's like Payday, from what I understand, but every person in it is a real person. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. We talked about it briefly.
Crime Boss Rockay City.
Yeah.
Yeah, we discussed it briefly when we did Payday.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah.
And
that's
fucking
Chuck
free
Norris
right
is
now.
in it.
Yeah.
Danny Trejo is in it.
Yeah.
Michael Rooker is in it. Vanilla Ice is in it. Why did that not come up, Dan?
I'm pretty sure it did, but we'll have to check the tape.
I was going to say. Maybe I wasn't paying attention.
I mean, there's a lot of information there, but that is free right now for PlayStation Plus, just like the standard level, I believe. Uh-huh. But there's like a ton of DLC that you can get for that, and I'm like, no, I wouldn't. Why? There's no way I would do that. But anyway,
playable on PS5 only. Fuck off.
Is it?
Yep.
Crime Boss?
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
Xbox Series X and S. I'm showing.
I don't have Game Pass, so.
Oh.
I could get it. I could buy it with my real money, but I'm not going to.
No. Why would you?
I have been playing a lot of Starfield as well. They just had like a pretty massive update about a week and a half ago, I think. The main things being they kind of tease a little bit more what the first big DLC pack is going to be. They also added local maps, and they improved the AI quite a bit, and you can decorate the inside of your ship now too.
Okay.
Which doesn't sound like a whole lot for a game that's been out for 8 months, but I mean, I'm fucking happy with it.
Look, anytime they support a game that I would have spent $70 on.
Yeah.
Realistically, I'm happy.
I would say it is to the point now where it is worth the $70. I would have said launch to now probably best on sale, but now I think it's worth $70.
Now it feels like a complete game.
Well, and I was going to say the other thing too is that like it seems like they are planning on improving it significantly, at least until the DLC drop. So like they're like listening to what the community has to say and they're making those improvements. So I don't know what to tell you. Like, get it. Get it. It's good. It's worth it.
Right on.
That being said, though, I did read that good old Todd came out and said that Elder Scrolls 6 is probably not coming till 2026, 2027. So maybe less support for Starfield and...
Yeah, that's so wild.
Well, the other thing, too, that they're talking about, they're considering doing is like outsource, like subcontracting, like getting other studios to help with game development. Something they probably should have been doing all along, but I do like appreciate that they want to keep everything in house.
I guess, but Oblivion did New Vegas, which is arguably the best Fallout. Like it's Bethesda, but it's Oblivion. You know what I mean? Like that was wildly successful. Everybody loved it, and that was technically third party. Granted, that third party was the team that worked on the original Fallouts, but even so, there's no reason to not farm some of that out. You're still going to publish it. You're still going to make the money off of it, Todd.
Yeah. I mean, Todd is responsible for a lot of things that I don't appreciate at Bethesda, but I don't know that the decision to not outsource is...
Oh, he's not the end-all be-all, no.
Yeah. He's pretty fucking high up there, though.
He's pretty high up there. The fact that we know his fucking name.
Right.
As and not because he went to high school with my cousin, you know. Anyway, anything else of note?
No, just NHL.
I mean, goes without saying, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. About to finish season 2 of my franchise mode. I've crafted the perfect offense. Right. If only my centers would stop getting concussions.
I mean, true in real life as well.
Yeah. What about you, Dan? Any other games you've been playing?
Yeah, so I just recently started Raji, an Ancient Epic, which is like a top-down brawler type thing that's based in Hindu mythology. That's really cool. Like you play as a young Indian girl who's trying to like get her brother back from demons. Like they were circus performers and just got thrown into this complete chaos, and it's really fun and difficult as shit. The battle system is not great.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like they give you a lot of stuff that you can do with it, but a lot of it's environmentally based. Like I can do like wall jumps to do attacks, and I can swing around pillars and stuff, but those things have to be there to do that. Otherwise I'm just tapping slashes. Yeah, it seems like it has a lot of promise. I want to get further into it before I make a final decision on it. But
yeah,
art style is super cool. Story super cool. It's interesting to me with how big of a population, like just global percentage of like Indian culture there is, and is not really represented in video games in the same way as like Chinese mythology or, as we've noted a million times, Norse mythology. Like, there's so much
two
stuff
aspects
about
of
Norse
mythology.
Yeah, right. But like, how many fucking games mention Valhalla, and you don't get fucking Vishnu and shit. Like, so I really appreciate that it's like something different. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. The big thing though in this past month, it came out of fucking nowhere, is a game called Animal Well.
Uh-huh.
Shea, have you heard anything about Animal Well?
No. Is this going to be another Diver Dave situation?
A little bit.
Oh, boy.
But not as in-depth. So it's a retro-style
oh, boy.
Metrovania
okay.
that is more puzzle-based than combat-based. Came out this past month. So yes, very much so a Dave the Diver situation in that it just fucking came out.
Yeah.
And for some reason was free right away on PlayStation.
Huh.
And it's really good. It's a very solid Metroidvania. Like, the thing that sets it apart, like I said, it's not combat based. It's more using tools to creatively solve problems and traversal things. And like, it's household objects for some reason, as opposed to like a laser or whatever. Like, one of the things I end up picking up to traverse is a fucking slinky. Which I think is really cool. Like
that is something.
There are, because it's a Metroidvania and it's almost 2.5D but 2D perspective, like just platformer. Like they have stair sets. So if I have to hit a switch over here and over there at the same time, I set the slinky up to go down the stairs to hit the button. It's really fun.
Yeah.
I have a frisbee that I can use to... I can actually ride it, which is pretty dope.
That does seem cool. Yeah.
It's really fun. Like, the mechanics in this are great. It's not very long. It's nowhere near the map size of, say, like a Hollow Knight, but there's like collectibles that'll unlock you other things, and there's, like any good Metroidvania, secret areas that you have to like find the key for, and that'll give you additional power-ups. Like, there's so much fun stuff in this. Like, very, very, very creative take on a Metroidvania. The art style is mostly pixely, but not in a grotesque way. Like, look up some screenshots in real time.
All right. Oh, okay. All right.
It's not...
This is giving Children of Morta vibes.
Okay, yeah.
Familiar with
I'll
that
give
game?
you that. Yeah.
A game that I would say is pretty ugly.
Yeah. Yeah. I have just I think, higher threshold for these kind of things historically for this podcast. The other thing is, like, I don't know what the fuck it is that I am. I just look like a meatball, but all the other enemies are like, or all the things that you come into contact with are like just animals.
Yeah.
But there's like 4 quadrants, and each quadrant has an animal, like kind of overlord sort of a thing.
Sure.
And you have to get past them in order to get like a flame, and that unlocks another thing. And then the only thing that's like mythical is the final boss of the game.
Uh-huh. It's Hitler in a tank.
It's Hitler in a tank.
Yeah.
And it came out of fucking nowhere.
And it's got angel wings, and it's a whole thing. Yeah.
Well, it's a mech suit, and yeah.
That's the second form.
Yeah. No, but it's super fun. Even the post-game stuff is really cool. I enjoyed it a lot. If you're a Metroidvania fan, definitely check it out. Definitely one of the more creative takes I've seen on the genre in recent memory. Especially with it not being at all combat-based. Like, I thought that was a really cool way to do this. Because that is kind of like one of the hallmarks of Metroidvanias, is you just get better weapons to do whatever.
Yeah.
Like, there's only one of the 4 animal boss characters that you have to actually like defeat, quote unquote. Uh-huh. And you do that by tricking a giant chameleon into eating hedgehogs to damage himself. Nice. And he doesn't even, like, he doesn't die, he just runs away. It's like, all right, fuck this shit. So I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
The Ghost Wolf was a pain in the dick. I saved that one for last. It was very stressful. Kit watched me play the whole thing. Kit watched me play the entire game, basically. And I think I did everything in under 4 hours, not including, like, post-game. Like, so it's nice and bite-sized, too.
For $25, though?
I mean, free on PlayStation.
If you have a PS5.
Yep. I mean, I do not feel it's worth $25, if I'm being fully honest.
Yeah.
This is I'd say $15 game.
Yeah.
All said and done. But just with the amount of new things that they brought to this genre, it's definitely worth checking out on sale, I would say.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's all I've been playing. There's a couple things that I've downloaded but haven't tried yet, like Crime Boss Rock City. No. I should just try it just to see.
I mean, please.
How bad it is.
Give us a fucking review.
The problem is, because it's a Payday style game, I don't want to be like, the great part about Payday was you and I playing those games together.
Yeah.
I don't want to get paired up with fucking randos that just want to be like an edgy Michael Rooker. You know?
Yeah. Well, hey, download 2009's Modern Warfare 2.
Okay.
And we'll take on Nuketown.
Yeah.
Just like the old days.
Oh my gosh. I genuinely don't think I've played since that. I'm not kidding about that. Military games aren't like known for difficult control schemes or anything like that. They try to like let people just kind of jump in, so at least there won't be a learning curve. Maybe I will do that.
Yeah. I don't know if there's cross-platform on that shit, but...
Probably. I mean, for something that old, I can't imagine there would be.
Yeah.
So, before we get out of here, we alluded to something a couple episodes ago, which nobody took the bait on or asked us any questions about. But we're going to make an announcement anyway, because there's something that we've been working on for a few months now. Shea, what would that be?
Yeah, Dan. So together with some of our guests and friends of the show, we will be launching an actual play podcast. We'll be playing what's called the Delvebound system, which was created by Michael Benar, and is like an entirely community-created reskin of D&D 5th edition that is set in the Elder Scrolls universe. So it's a very exciting project that we are undertaking. I will be GMing. Dan is a player. Guest Aaron will be playing as well. Timmy will be playing, and then a friend of mine, Will, and my sibling Bevan will be filling out that party. And we are planning on dropping the first episode. We've recorded most of session 0. We're planning on dropping the first episode of that adventure in August. So very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And anybody who's ever done any D&D knows that scheduling is your biggest hurdle. So like just getting a party of 5 together to record everything is the biggest challenge for this, because we're all over the place. But like Shea said, episode 0, just testing things out, and there's some really fun mechanics in this. Shea and I are both very passionate about Elder Scrolls, as we've mentioned it only about 8,000 times over the course of the run of this podcast. And it's so fun. And I'll let you know right now, if Will plays this like he did in episode 0, he is going to be the standout character for sure.
Absolutely.
A couple of us have been talking about like how we expand our backstories, and how like maybe some of us will have known each other and things like that. Like there's so much fun potential here. And yeah, even if you're not a fan of D&D and you're just a fan of us, this could be something worthwhile for you to listen to. And plus it's just a new thing for Shea and I to sink our teeth into, with all these format changes and figuring out how we want to proceed as time goes on.
Yeah, and one thing I did forget to mention, as far as the system is concerned, like we're collaborating closely with Michael on using the system for the show. So
yeah, that's been the coolest thing, is that we've not only gotten their blessing to do this, they're kind of helping us out, and it's such an honor. Like this is so cool. Yeah, so we're very excited for that. So look out for that in August, and in the meantime, shoot us any suggestions for catchy subtitles for that version of this podcast. Yeah. Brian Craig, who came up with the cheap code thing, I'm calling on you to come up with some punny nonsense.
We're not doing that. No. No puns.
No puns? All right, fine.
No puns.
One of the funniest people I know can't provide a pun. Fine.
I mean, if they want to, they can give me a pun, but I'm
okay.
Telling you right now, I'm not going to use it.
That's fair. No guarantees. Let's never say never.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's going to just about do it for us today. Pretty short episode, but we've got a whole bunch of irons in the fire, and we really do want to make this new podcast successful. So that's been a good portion of Shea's time, especially. Being a GM
Jesus,
for anything.
So much of my time.
Is such a hard... I just have to show up and know what my character is supposed to do. But as always, you can follow us on Instagram at BNGPod, where we post custom artwork for every episode, as well as sales that you should be aware of that we call cheap codes. You can also follow us on Facebook, where we do those exact same things at Broke and Gaming.
If you want to share the show, you can use our hosting site, which is, I think, still anchor.fm/BNGPod.
Hard to say.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
It'll redirect.
Yeah, you can definitely find us over on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/@BrokeandGamingPodcast. if you would like to, I keep saying I'm going to get back into streaming, and at some point I'll mean it, but it's just not happening right now. But you can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/BNG podcast.
Speaking of streaming, I just saw that Virtually Analog is doing something cool if you want to
Oh, yeah. Real quick. Yeah, so the other podcast that I'm on, Virtually Analog, which I host with frequent guests on this show, Lex, this coming Wednesday, so a couple of days before this episode drops, Lex and I and Drew Williams, the creator of the game, will be streaming a game of Wastelandia, a board game whose Kickstarter is launching this coming Wednesday, May the 29th. So by the time you hear this, you won't be able to catch that live, but I will post something on our Facebook for that, and you can catch the replay of that over on the Virtually Analog YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'm so stoked for you guys. That's so cool.
Yeah. We've had a lot of communication with Drew over the course of the development of that game. Lex and I are both really big fans of the game, so it's really cool that he's coming to Virtually Analog to help launch the Kickstarter for that. So yeah, check out the replay over on YouTube or the Virtually Analog Twitch channel for the next couple weeks.
Right on. And if you want to send us an email for any reason, like puns about tabletop RPGs that happen to be set in the Elder Scrolls universe, you can do so at brokengamingpod@gmail.com. All right, Shea, I think that will just about do it. Another one in the books. And until next time, goodbye, absolutely everyone.
I didn't mention this at all, but this is our 75th episode. But
holy shit!
Yeah. Bye!